In all honesty, my swing has felt absolutely awful recently, but I went to see Pete the other day and we figured quite a few things out. So this is my practice session after having a lesson and everything I'll be working on. In all honesty, this was a pretty technical session, but I'm going to try my best to put it in the most simple terms. So first thing Pete noticed is that I was pretty tall during my setup and then basically stood up during my backswing. This led me to lose all of my angles, and as you can see at the top of my backswing, my right elbow is actually deeper than my right hip, which completely messes me up for my downswing. So the first step was pretty much just to get some space between my hands and my body during the setup, and then I needed to make sure I was maintaining those angles during my backswing, so I had the feeling of almost pushing my right hip back. The second thing Pete noticed is that my swing was getting a little bit long, so he gave me this drill where I just placed an alignment stick under my right arm and it pretty much just catches me out if my swing gets too long. I love drills like this where it's not overcomplicated and just simple to implicate into my practice. It's so easy for me to just put the alignment stick there, and then the minute my arm touches the alignment stick, I know it's time for the downswing. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit more technical, but during the backswing I've now given myself space and I've got a better posture. But I then needed to learn how to hold my angles a bit better, because as you can see here, I very much lose my angles so quickly, and by the time I get to impact I'm pretty much scooping at the ball. In shorter terms, I needed to hold my lag for a little longer and then throw the ball and release that angle closer to impact. So to get the feel of this, Pete gave me a drill where I use the alignment stick and pretty much throw it correctly at the ball. If I don't do this correctly, the alignment stick will finish behind the ball, versus if I do this correctly, it should finish in front of the ball. So essentially this just allows me to learn where my angles and my arms should be at certain points in my downswing. So once again, this was something I rehearsed over and over again during practice. Another way Pete taught me to rehearse this was just to place a tee behind the ball. Essentially, if I don't hold my lag and I throw the club too early, I'm going to hit the tee, and if I hold my lag correctly and throw the club at the right time, I'm going to miss the tee but then hit the ball. Once again, this is such an easy drill to implement into my practice because I can simply just put a tee there and I'll know exactly whether I've held that lag and thrown it at the right time. One thing I will say though is this has to be one of the most frustrating drills of all time, because sometimes I felt like I was swinging it good but then I'd still hit the tee. But again, it's just such a great drill for me to clearly understand whether I've held that lag and thrown the club at the right time. So to sum that all up, I'm keeping my angles in my backswing, which enables me to get a lot more space in my downswing for my hands and my arms to keep that lag. I'm then learning to hold that lag for longer and throw my hands closer to impact, which gives me such a better looking impact position, and hopefully this is going to allow me to gain a lot more distance and a lot more consistency in strike. So yeah, a lot to work on. If you catch me sleeping at the range, mind your business.